Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the Virtual Dokkan Ultimate Clash. I decided to change up the format. I'm hoping it is better, hoping you guys enjoy it. Basically we'll go through each boss a little bit and then obviously discuss. You can see the team. I'll discuss if there's anything notable. Listen, for Yajirobe, Rilldo, even Pan and Cabba and Nail, the strategies are not too intense. The bosses are not too hard. A lot of the times there's just not a lot of mechanics that you need to be concerned of. Yajirobe, yes, can dodge you, but that's really about it. General Rilldo is immune to stunning, but that's really about it. In all Ultimate Clash fights, there are attack lowering, sealing, and for a lot of them stunning being very useful, but attack lowering and sealing are two crucial mechanics that exist across all the fights. So you'll notice a lot of my teams outside of the first two, so the first two that I use against Rilldo and Yajirobe, which I use to save units basically, so I use two free-to-play teams to save my good units for later fights, all feature sealing, attack lowering, etc. I also want to specify that as well, I focus on mono teams. So you'll notice a lot of my teams are of one type. So they either all extreme int or super int, or at least are all int type, for example. So that's obviously something that I do. Aside from that, that's pretty much it. So speaking with Nail, obviously he, Pan, and Cabba all share the same effects. They're all immune to stunning. They disable attack and defense lowering, and they reduce damage received. Their super attack effects all differ. So Nail, for example, raises his defense, Pan raises her attack, Cabba lowers your defense, which is one of the more irritating factors. But besides that, there's not a lot that they do. They are generally, I would say, level 1 and level 2 is generally acceptable and easy to beat, or at least beatable, for most players. Like, I don't think you'll struggle a lot. You'll notice these teams that I'm using are actually too overpowered for this stage. Like, they are quite a bit above the level required for this stage. There are some things that I will say. So firstly, you don't have to use only mono teams. You don't have to use mono teams. If you can build, for example, a Majin Buu Saga team and all of those units are physical, that's always your best bet. Right? Or if you want to, especially for stage 3, if you want to use teams that are holistically top level priority, so like Universal Survival Saga, movie bosses, etc., you can use those. Like, those teams will generally perform better, especially in stage 3, than a mono team, especially if you have sealing and attack lowering. The reason I use mono teams is because it just gives a little bit more protection against the bosses, and also provides a little bit more of a basis for people to work off of. Now, starting with level 3, that's where things get very important. So Gohan is immune to being stunned, he can evade your attacks, he can reduce your damage received. But Gohan, the thing with Gohan is he has a countdown to a special attack, but he also fires supers in between. So it's not just a countdown to his super. His evasion is also quite irritating. I think it's at about 5-10%. With Gohan, what is best is to attack him, but also to have units that fire multiple attacks. You will need a unit that can tank his super in turn 3 at the back end of the rotation. Generally speaking, I find that Gohan is probably the easiest out of the stage 3 bosses, just because he doesn't have annoying mechanics like healing. All 3 other bosses have healing. Super Garlic Jr. is quite irritating. What is irritating about Garlic is because he will seal one of your characters at random. This can be quite frustrating because for the most part players will obviously have a select unit that maybe gains defense on super, and this can be quite annoying. He also lowers your defense with his super attack as well, which can be quite frustrating, and he recovers a fair chunk of HP. I will say that with him and both Boos, you can stun. So stunning him, sealing him, this works very effectively, especially against him and the Boos. The reason why it works so well is because stunning prevents them from healing. So stunning has the added capacity of protecting you, because it stuns them, it protects you from them, and also the added capacity of basically preventing them from healing. So it's not necessarily like, how can I say, so much so that it's just about protecting you. It's actually the fact that it prevents them from healing that is so crucial. So the same applies for both Boos. Now the Boos are pretty much exactly the same. So all the Boos are pretty much identical. One thing I'll say is that the Evil Boo definitely feels, I'd probably say, about on par with Super Garlic Jr. And then Majin Buu Good feels a little bit easier. I'm not too certain why. I think it's because Evil Boo can seal you with his super, which can be frustrating as well. But the teams we put together for these are fairly okay. All mono, of course. I think for me, ultimately, it's all actually a fairly straightforward. Like really, really simple. So yeah, I think overall it's a fairly simple concept. Now comes to the big one, which is Metal Cooler. I'm using mono team, but I will state that this mono team is very reliant on Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta's stun. So Metal Cooler can be quite irritating because he can actually super you, I think, like 3 or 4 times in a row. Like he literally can just wake up, have 3 attacks before you fire a single attack, and he can super you like 3 times. Like, you can have really bad RNG style runs against Metal Cooler. The way to counteract this is 2 ways. 1, evasion, so you just never get hit. Or 2, high levels of damage reduction. So SS3 Vegeta solves that problem a lot because he could take 18 supers from Metal Cooler and it wouldn't matter. The big problem then is obviously stopping Cooler from potentially supering the rest of your rotation. So attack down, defense down helps a lot. That's where Super Gogeta comes in. Sealing helps, but generally on strength we struggle for that outside of like strength Chi-Chi. So instead I said, you know what, I'm going to use SF3 Vegeta and back his stun. Now I get fortunate, look, Vegeta has a high stun chance, but I get fortunate in that he stuns him on both turns he's out, which makes the run very easy. You can also have a run where Vegeta misses his stun, and you have your Vegito in slot 3 get instantly supered 4 times and you lose. It's unfortunately a very difficult boss fight from that perspective. With that being said, what I will say, honestly, I think it's just one of those situations where you need to keep a backup team or 2. Like I said, keep your premier teams for this Cooler fight. USS does great here. Any team with a revive or a mechanic that'll allow you to get over Cooler's bad RNG is going to be helpful. And just keep, I would say honestly, like 2 proper teams in check to try and control Metal Cooler, because he is, yeah, just a really boring fight.